Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into our time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
On today's program, we give thanks to all the people who have taken advantage of the Buy Me a Coffee function at classicradio.stream because you helped us acquire these episodes of Gunsmoke. This one today goes back to June 12th, 1954. This episode is entitled The Cover-Up.
Around Dart City and in the territory on west, there's just one way to handle the killers and the spoilers, and that's with a U.S. Marshal and the smell of gun smoke. Gunsmoke, starring William Conrad, the transcribed story of the violence that moved west with young America, the story of a man who moved with it, Matt Dillon, United States Marshal.
Good morning, ma'am. Kitty!
Hello, Matt. I didn't see you sitting there.
Well, I know. Sit down. There you are.
How do you like my outfit?
Wow. I never saw you in a riding skirt before, Kitty. You been riding side saddle?
For the first time in my life. At least I know how to do it now, in case I'm ever called on to be a lady.
Well, I know ladies who don't always ride side saddle.
Sure. Like that female wildcat down in the Panhandle you told me about. What's her name?
Oh, Bellstar?
I bet she never rides side saddle.
No, Bellstar's a lady, though. And everybody treats her like one. Even though she has to use a 6-gun to make them do it.
Maybe I ought to try that.
Yeah, it takes more than a 6-gun to make a lady, Kitty.
That's a funny way of putting it.
Well, that isn't what I meant.
Dillon? Hello, Miss Kitty.
How are you, Chester?
Hey, I just come to Longhorn there, Mr. Dillon.
What, trouble, Chester?
Not yet, but there's going to be as soon as Art Long gets to town.
Art Long? Well, he's always been a peaceful man.
Isn't he one of those nesters out near Sam Baxtin's ranch?
That's him, but it's another one of them nesters that's talking up trouble. A fellow named Hoffer. He's saying he's going to shoot Art Long on sight.
Well, is he drunk, Chester?
Yes, sir, some.
Armed?
He's got the biggest old cavalry pistol you ever saw stuck right in his belt.
Real farmer style.
Well, that may be true, Kitty, but those horse pistols go off sometimes.
Bye later, Matt.
Yeah, I will if I can, Kitty. So long.
It sure sounds like he means it, Mr. Dillon.
Oh, why does he want to kill Long, Chester?
Well, sir, he didn't say.
Yeah, maybe he's just drunk and wants to shoot somebody.
No,
Anybody.
Sir. No, sirree. Hoffer's pretty certain about who it's going to be.
All right, Chester. Don't stand too close in case he puts up a fight, huh?
No, sir.
And all you bully grubs, shut up and listen to me. When Art Long gets here, you're going to see his blood all over the floor. Right there. Or maybe right over there. I don't know just where yet.
Your name, Hoffer?
Barnaby Hoffer.
What's the trouble between you and Art Long?
You friend of his?
That doesn't matter.
Yes, it does. Because if you're a real good friend, I might take it to mind to shoot you, too.
I'm a U.S. Marshal, mister, and you're not going to shoot anybody.
Oh, Marshal Dillon, huh?
I'll take that pistol, Hoffer.
Okay, Marshal. Take it.
right. Now tell me what this is all about.
I don't need no pistol.
He's got it right, Mr. Dillon.
Drop it, Hoffer. I said drop it.
No, I'm going to cut you again. Give me that knife back.
You're kind of hard to convince, Hoffer.
Did he cut you bad, Mr. Dillon?
Oh, he opened up my arm a little bit, Chester. I better go see Doc. You throw him in jail.
Yes, sir, I sure will.
There's a saying that it's the gentle horse that's most dangerous. You don't watch him close enough. And so with Barnaby Hoffer, a farmer who hands you his old horse pistol and then snatches an 8-inch knife from the back of his belt. Well, Doc took a few stitches in my arm and told me to come back in a couple of days. And I did. And it looked pretty good by then. At least I thought so.
You're going to have to watch that cut, Matt. There might be an infection in it.
What are you talking about, Doc? Looks as clean as rain to me.
Well, how do you know what that idiot's been using his knife on? Probably sticks hogs with it all day and uses it to clean his boots at night.
Yeah, sure, but my arm bled a lot. That got it clean. That and all the turpentine you poured into it.
Hurt, didn't it?
You know, someday, Doc, if my luck holds, I'm going to get a chance to work on you.
Oh, no, you know, I'd sooner die. I'd sooner lie in the snow and bleed to death all alone without anybody around even to bury me.
How did you get in the snow, Doc?
Oh, I just hate snow.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
Oh, come in. Oh, hello, Chester.
Doc, Mr. Dillon, Art Long's been killed.
What?
Yes, sir. A cowboy just come into the office and told me. Said he rode by his cabin this afternoon and he found him there laying right in the door. Barnaby Hoffer must have done it.
Hoffer? I thought you had him in jail, Matt.
Well, I turned him loose next morning, Doc. He seemed calm enough then. I guess I made a mistake.
I guess you did, all right.
Maybe we shouldn't have stopped to bury Art Long. Hoffer may be a long way from here by now.
We couldn't leave him lying there, Chester.
No, sir, I guess not. Poor fella.
Well, there's Hoffer's cabin.
Yes, sir. Hey, we've done pretty good at that. It's hardly past daylight.
Looks like his door's open.
Yeah, then he must be inside. He wouldn't go off and leave his door open.
No. Hey, wait a minute. Look over there, Chester.
What? Why, it's him. Oh, he looks dead.
Yeah, come on.
Oh. He's been shot, Mr. Dillon. With a shotgun. Just like Art Long.
Well, he's still breathing. Hoffer? Hoffer. Marshal Dillon, Hoffer. Hey.
Marshal. I'm tore all apart. Took a load of buckshot when I opened the door.
Who did it, Hoffer? Did you see him?
Sam Baxtin. He did it.
Sam Baxtin?
Who killed Art Long, Hoffer? Did you?
Art Long. Is he dead?
Yeah.
Both of us. Dead. I don't want to die.
Yeah, it's a wonder he lived this long.
Gosh, Mr. Dillon, I just can't believe Sam Baxtin done this.
Why? Just because Baxton's a big rancher and pretty respectable? He's also a mean old devil. And these men are nesters. Come on, let's go find him, Chester. Hello? Anybody home?
Why,
it's Marshal Dillon and Chester.
Hello, Miss
Oh, ma'am.
Well, don't stand around out there. Come on in and sit a while.
Thank you, ma'am.
I got 2 pots of coffee on the stove.
Well, we don't want to bother you none, Miss Baxton.
Bother. Why, I love company. And besides, you don't get out this way very often, Marshal. You're just going to have to stay and eat dinner with us. Sam, we got company.
Hello, Baxton.
What are you doing here, Marshal?
Why, Sam, that's no way to...
Shut up, woman.
Please, Sam, don't talk like that.
Want to get whooped instead? Well, do you?
No, Sam.
I asked what you're doing here, Marshal.
Yeah, I heard you.
Well, say it out. We're busy around here.
You know Art Long and Barnaby Hoffer?
I know 'em. Dirty nesters.
Well, they're both dead, Baxton.
Good.
Oh, no.
They both got killed the same way.
What do I care how they got killed, as long as they're dead?
I'm going to tell you anyway, Baxton. Each of them, when he came out of his cabin first thing in the morning, was killed by a man waiting outside with a shotgun.
Oh, you know all that. You weren't there.
Barnaby Hoffer was still alive when we got there, Baxton.
Still alive?
He died pretty quick, but before he did, he told me who shot him.
Did he? And who was that, Marshal?
You?
Oh, no. No, it couldn't be.
I'm sorry, ma'am, but that's what he said. I'm going to have to arrest you, Baxton.
Arrest me? On the word of a dead sodbuster? Who's going to believe it?
The court will decide that, but it's enough evidence to hold you on.
What makes you think Hoffer wasn't lying? He knew he was going to die, and it was his last chance to get me in trouble. That's what happened.
You'll get a trial, Baxton. You can defend yourself there. Right now, you're going to jail. I'm charging you with 2 murders.
But Art Long was dead. He didn't tell you nothing, Marshal.
He and Hoffer were killed exactly the same way, ma'am. Looks like one man killed both of them.
Come on, Marshal. If we're going to jail, let's go. And you stay out here, woman. I don't want you running into Dodge all the time I'm there.
All right, Sam.
And don't go talking your fool head off to everybody about this either.
I won't.
When we get this business over with, Marshal, I'm going to give you a lot of trouble. You're going to wish you never come near me.
Come in. Be with you in a minute, Matt. As soon as I get Kitty fixed up here.
Oh, Matt.
Kitty. What's that, a black eye? What happened?
It's none of your business. How's your arm, Matt?
His arm's all right, Kitty. Just comes up here to bother me.
Somebody's got to keep you from sleeping all day, Doc.
Oh, don't forget I'm making pretty good money off that cut of yours. Yeah, Kitty.
Thanks, Doc. Matt, has Sam Baxtin confessed yet?
No, I've spent 2 days trying to get him to, but he won't admit a thing.
Well, if he does hang, there won't be many tears shed around here.
Yeah, there's Ms. Baxton, Kitty. For some reason, she really loves him.
Oh, that poor woman. I've seen how he treats her.
Too bad she hasn't got a son to stand up for her. Some kid about 8 feet tall.
Well, he'd be about 8 feet tall if he was Sam Baxton's. Well, that man's tall as a tree.
Is he still wearing that white hat of his?
Yeah, the only time he takes it off is when he sleeps, Kitty. Then he puts it over his face.
Be like sleeping under a horse blanket. No wonder he's so ornery all the time.
Oh, come in. Well, come on in, friend.
Fellow downstairs told me I could find the marshal up here.
What can I do for you, mister?
Oh, I never been in Dodge City before, Marshal. I ain't even been in Kansas very long. I'm riding south. I got tired of that cold up north.
Well, you're welcome here.
I'm going on south. What I come to tell you was there's a little creek runs out of Arkansas about 20 miles from here. Fellow told me it's called Ginger Creek.
Yeah, that's up near Sam Baxton's ranch, man.
That's on his ranch, according to him. What about Ginger Creek, mister?
There's some fella's got a little cabin there with a corral out in back. I don't know his name.
Now, that'd be Jim Fowler. He's been homesteading there for about a year.
No more he ain't.
Now, what do you mean?
I buried him myself early this morning. I come by and found him laying in the door of his cabin. He was dead, but still bleeding. Somebody's tore him plumb in two with a shotgun.
June 12th, 1954, Gunsmoke on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, now more of Gunsmoke, June 12th, 1954.
Mr. Dillon, look at there.
What is it, Chester?
Out there in the street. It's Miss Baxtin.
Huh?
She's coming a buggy.
News travels fast, doesn't it?
You gonna turn old Sam Baxtin loose?
Well, I don't have much to hold him on now, Chester.
No, sir. Not with him right here in jail when that last fellow was killed the same way as Art Long and Hoffer. Shucks, I guess he was telling the truth after all.
Yeah, it looks that way.
Well, I'm glad for Miss Baxtin anyway. I'll open the door for her. Well, morning, Miss Baxtin.
Hello, Chester.
Come right on in, ma'am.
Thank you.
Hello, Miss Baxton.
Marshal Dillon, I'm sure glad to see you this time.
Well, I hope there aren't any hard feelings, ma'am.
Oh, you was only doing your duty. I respect that. Oh, where's Sam?
The cells are out back.
Oh, you haven't turned him loose yet?
No, ma'am.
It's too bad about Jim Fowler, Marshal, being killed that way. But it was just like the others, wasn't it? The same man killed all three of them. And Sam was right here in jail.
Well, I was just saying to Chester, news sure travels fast. How'd you hear about it so soon? It just happened this morning.
What? One of our cowboys rode by there about noon, Marshal. He come straight to the ranch and told me about it. Would you let Sam out now? I'd like to get started.
I'm sorry, Miss Baxton, but I'm going to have to hold him for a while yet.
But why, Marshal? What for?
Well, Mr. Dillon, a few minutes ago you said yourself...
I said that he wasn't clear of this yet, Chester. You don't listen very close, Chester.
No, sir, I sure don't.
Marshal, you said that whoever killed Hoffer killed Art Long, since they was both shot the very same way.
Well, I know I did, ma'am, but I've been thinking a lot about it, and I'm just not sure yet.
Even with the same thing happening again this morning?
Well, I got to admit that does make a difference, all right. I suppose if one more man got killed like that, I wouldn't have any case at all against your husband. But the way things are now, I got to hold him, ma'am. I'm sorry about it.
Well, it's like I said, Marshal. You got to do your duty.
Yes, ma'am. If there's anything I can do for you, Miss Baxton.
Thank you, Marshal, but I'm all right. Can I see Sam before I start back?
Of course, ma'am. He's right through that door.
I can't stay long.
Chester. You've been up on Ginger Creek since I have.
Yes, sir.
Isn't there another nester there not far from Jim Fowler's cabin?
A couple of miles beyond, there's one. I don't know his name, though.
No, that doesn't matter. Chester, go get our horses, huh? And bring a horse for Sam Baxtin, too. He's going to go up there with us.
I don't know what you're up to, Marshal, but I'd rather be in jail than spending the night in this place.
It's a nice little cabin he's got here, Baxtin.
Yeah, you improved it some when you sent him into Dodge for the night.
It's almost daylight, Mr. Dillon.
Okay, Chester. Well, I'm going to build a fire now and let whoever's waiting outside think his victim's just got up.
What makes you think he'll be there this morning, Marshal?
And if he isn't, we'll stay here till he does come.
Mr. Dillon, you want me to pull the door open when you're ready?
I'll tell you when, Chester. And after he gets off a couple of blasts with that shotgun, we'll go out and try to take him alive. All right, Baxton, you get over there with Chester. And I'll try to get this thing started. Oh, we're gonna need smoke going up through the chimney.
Maybe we can come back when it's all over and cook a little breakfast, Mr. Dillon.
Now, we'll worry about breakfast later, Chester.
Yes, sir.
Here,
Captain, you stop that.
What?
Wait, he's got my gun, Mr. Dillon.
You're standing in my way, Chester. Move!
Oh, he got outside.
Come on. Drop that gun, Baxton.
I got him, Marshal. I hit him both times.
Drop it, I said.
June 12th, 1954, Gunsmoke on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. The conclusion follows these messages from your favorite radio station. Just going to take a minute here to tell you about the big savings going on now, the clearance sale at mypillow.com. And you know, I've talked about how in my office I have a pair of my slippers, and they're really comfortable, and they're on clearance right now. The mypillow.com slippers, $25 a pair, limit 10. And I would buy 3 or 4 more pairs. Unfortunately, they're out of my size. They also have sheets, pillowcases, clothing items, all on special right now. Go to mypillow.com, click on the clearance tab at the top of the page, use my promo code Wyatt, or call 1-800-928-4715. Limited sizes remaining in the MyPillow slippers, limited colors on other items. mypillow.com, clearance tab, promo code Wyatt, 1-800-928-4715. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Now the conclusion of Gunsmoke and the cover-up, June 12, 1954, as we hear Matt Dillon say,
Drop that gun, Baxton.
I got him, Marshal. I hit him both times.
Drop it, I said.
All right. I was only helping out, Marshal. Look, he's laying right out there. Gosh, I'm sorry, Mr. Dillon. I never thought he'd try nothing like that.
Walk ahead of me, Baxton.
Oh, sure. Oh, Marshal, look, it's my wife.
Yeah. She's dead.
I didn't know who it was, Marshal. I couldn't see who it was. How'd I know she was doing this? Going around killing people.
Your wife shot Jim Fowler yesterday morning.
I didn't know she hated nesters that much. Well, it's kind of hard to believe, Marshal.
Yeah.
But I guess you never know about a woman.
Well, I can tell you about her, Baxton. Fowler's the only man she killed, and she didn't kill Fowler because she hated him. She did it because she loved you.
What are you talking about?
She was trying to cover up for you.
Now, wait a minute.
She almost did it, too. She almost kept you from hanging. So she claimed one of your cowhands saw Fowler's body when I knew he'd already been buried. I had all the evidence I needed on her right then, Baxton. And the biggest mistake you made was killing her.
I didn't know it was her.
You knew. Well, what you forgot was that she'd have confessed to killing Long and Hoffer.
Why would she?
Because she loved you. Besides, she couldn't have been punished anymore for killing 3 men than for killing 1.
You got it all figured out, ain't you, Marshal?
Yeah, everything. Everything except how she could love a man like you. But then it's like you say. You never know about a woman.
Gunsmoke, transcribed under the direction of Norman MacDonald, stars William Conrad as Matt Dillon, U.S. Marshal. Tonight's story was specially written for Gunsmoke by John Meston, with music composed and conducted by Rex Corey. Featured in the cast were Joseph Kearns, Helen Cleve, Paul Savage, and Clayton Post. Parley Bear as Chester, Howard McNear as Doc, and Georgia Ellis as Kitty. Roy Rowan speaking. Join us again next week as Matt Dillon, U.S. Marshal, fights to bring law and order out of the wild violence of the West in Gunsmoke.
Gene Autry stops a lynching of an innocent man and tracks down the real killer on tomorrow's Gene Autry Show.
There's time out for melody on Melody Ranch, too, as Gene sings Down Yonder, Blue Canadian Rockies, and other Western hits. CBS Radio presents the adventure and melody of the Gene Autry Show every Sunday on most of these same stations. Be listening tomorrow.
From June 12th, 1954, Gunsmoke on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. We've told you that John Dehner played a lot of nasty, nasty roles, and he plays another one in this episode of yours truly, Johnny Dollar. This is part 2 of the 5-part story, The Laughing Matter. This episode was originally broadcast June 12th, 1956, and John Dehner's not as funny guy as you like to think he could be.
From Hollywood, it's time now for...
Johnny Dollar.
This is Charlie Burton, Mr. Dollar.
Oh, yes. Was hoping you'd come out of seclusion.
Seclusion?
I arrived in Ensenada at 4 o'clock this afternoon. It's now 10 p.m., and I still haven't been able to see the man I'm supposed to protect.
I did not invite you here, Mr. Dollar. I do not need any protection.
Well, my insurance company doesn't agree with you, and they've got $500,000 riding on your life.
Look, my life has not been threatened. That note was a mere bit of buffoonery perpetrated by one of those nearest and dearest to me. One of those to whom I have unstintingly devoted my
Oh,
entire...
knock it off, Burton. I know the good old lovable Charlie legend, and I've seen your TV show.
Well, naturally.
Look, are you going to talk to me, or do I wire my company to cancel your policy and notify your sponsor that you've refused to cooperate with us?
Mr. Dollar, you may come down to my room in 10 minutes.
I'll be there in an hour, Burton. You wait on me for a change.
Tonight, and every weekday night, Bob Bailey in the transcribed adventures of the man with the action-packed expense account, America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. From Special Investigator Johnny Dollar, location Ensenada, Mexico. To the Home Office, Union States Casualty Company, Hartford, Connecticut. Assignment, The Laughing Matter. Expense account continued. Item 5, $1.40. Taxi from the hotel in the village to the Commandancia of Police on Frente Avenue. I wanted a rundown of one of the maids at the hotel, a girl named Velena Morales. I'd seen her on the hotel terrace shortly after dark near Charlie Burton's room. Seen her arguing with some man who'd managed to slip away from me in the darkness. Captain Peral said he'd check with me later and politely avoided asking what it was all about. If he had, I couldn't have told him. The Charlie Burton comedy show was on location at Ensenada, Mexico, and Frank Maltz, the producer, had frantically phoned Hartford and claimed Burton's life had been threatened. Burton thought it was a practical joke. Maltz didn't know. Neither did I. But I was there to find out. Hiya.
You are Mr. John Dollar, I assume.
You couldn't assume any corrector. Mind if I come in?
By all means, do.
Thanks.
I am Charles Burton, Mr. Dollar.
Yeah, I know. I've seen your face in a number of saloons.
I beg your pardon?
Oh, on their television sets.
Oh, yes, of course. Well, sit down, Mr. Dollar.
I just did.
Yes, so I noticed. Well, I don't imagine you'll be here long enough for me to have something sent up from there.
Oh, I'm sure I will. I'll have scotch on the rocks. Double.
I see. Room service, please. This is Mr. Burton in Suite D. Please send up one scotch on the rocks.
Double.
Make it double. Oh, just a moment, please. By the way, Mr. Dollar, what is your room number?
I can't seem to remember it at the moment. Why don't you just charge it to yours and then bill me for it later?
If you think you're... Room service, cancel that order. Yes, I said cancel it. I will not tolerate this high-handed attitude from a hireling, sir.
But not your hireling, Burton. Now, let's get a few things straight right now. From what I've heard about you up to now, I don't like you. And when I get to know you better, you like it or not.
And I certainly do not.
And there's nothing you can do about it.
Oh.
Try throwing your weight around with the insurance company, and they'll cancel your policy. And if that happens, you'll have sponsor trouble right up to your neck.
If you think you can
I think you're not
intimidate-
going to let it happen, Burton. You can't afford to. So cut out the kidding and let's get on with it.
You know, I like you, Dollar. You're so uninhibited. I'm going to buy you that...
Nope, sorry.
Why not?
I didn't want it in the first place. It was only a way to get your goat, break down that phony guard. But have one yourself, though.
Now, drinking is not one of my vices.
Oh, so that explains it.
Explains what?
It wasn't one of Hitler's vices either.
You're so delightfully insulting, you know. One can hardly take offense.
Too bad. I'd hope for better results.
Would you mind telling me just who exactly is responsible for this prejudiced opinion you have of me?
Well, as I remember, it was fairly unanimous.
As I know, you talked to Frank Maltz. Maltz, of course, is bitter because he hasn't been given complete control of my show.
Or any control, the way I hear it.
As long as it's the Charlie Burton show, Mr. Dollar, Charlie Burton intends to run it.
Only the gods are immortal. Isn't that what the murder threat said?
I'll get to that. Then there's Gloria Dale, my leading lady. Dear Gloria. I suppose she told you I've treated her very badly. Practically forced her to sign a contract that pays her several $1,000s a week. A hideous fate, actually.
It could be.
And Al Schreiber? Did he mention the fact that I took him out of a 40-a-week burlesque house and taught him the subtleties of high-class, big-time comedy? Things that I had spent a lifetime perfecting.
Look, Burton, if you're trying to convince me of your fine, sterling character, forget it. It's irrelevant. I'm here because...
You're here because of that note, and that's exactly what I'm getting at. You think it was written by one of those three people, don't you?
Right.
Well, I agree with you. But you also take the threat seriously. I don't.
Why not?
Because not one of them has any reason to kill me. Yes, I know how they talk. They're underpaid, overworked. The boss is a tyrant. They hate him, the same old patter. And that kind of talk never leads to murder, Mr. Dollar.
Yeah, you've got a point there, I guess.
That note was pushed under my door yesterday as a crude attempt at a joke. Nothing else. Then Maltz lost his head and had you sent down here from Hartford. And the whole thing has become ridiculous.
You may be right. Well...
You sure you won't have that drink?
No, thanks. Oh, by the way, there's a maid at the hotel here. I believe she works all the rooms along the terrace here. A small girl, very pretty, with short curly hair.
Oh, yes, Valina.
Oh, you've noticed her then?
Oh, quite. I find her utterly charming.
Would you happen to know whether she's married?
I really didn't bother to ask. Does it matter?
Not to me, but it might to her husband.
You are determined, aren't you?
There must be some reason why you're so scared.
Scared? You do have a preposterous imagination. Good night, Mr. Dollar.
It wasn't my imagination. Burton was scared, or worried, or upset. At any rate, something was bothering him. But at the moment, he was covering up for some reason, and there was nothing more I could do to push him. So I gave up for the time being and went back to my room. But I wasn't ready for sleep, and the terrace outside my windows lying empty in the moonlight seemed inviting. And even more so, the sound of breakers 100 yards beyond. I followed a winding path through the hotel gardens and came out into Sandy Cove. And there I found her, Gloria Dale, sitting on the sea-worn rocks by the water's edge, with a bottle beside her, getting quietly drunk.
You've discovered my guilty secret, Mr. Dollar, and I've only got one glass. It's that or the bottle.
I'll share the glass with you, if it's all right.
Sure. There you are.
Thanks. Here's to the moon, people.
They seem real close tonight, don't they?
Yeah, they'll be dancing out there on the water by midnight.
I think you're as crazy as I am.
Crazier. You're not even in the same league.
I'm glad you came. I go sort of nuts on moonlit nights by myself.
Hey, what happened to Al? Weren't you two together?
I sent him off to bed. He gets a little wearing sometimes.
He's real gone on you, isn't he?
I guess so.
And you?
He's a good guy. I like him a lot. He's fine, but...
But no click, huh?
No click. Here's to better clicks.
Hey, easy, kid. You're drinking it straight, you know.
Help yourself.
What are you trying to do to yourself, Gloria?
Learn to forget. Forget the emptiness, the hollowness. There's nothing in me anymore. Except the hate, of course. There's plenty of hate.
For Charlie Burton?
For Charlie Burton.
Do you hate him enough to kill him?
You've always got your eye on the ball, haven't you, Mr. Dollar?
More or less. Would you like to tell me about this emptiness?
No, I don't think so.
All right.
Why not, though? It's the edge of the land and the edge of the sea. And you're from the moon, and you'll go back there at dawn. So why not? Here's to the moon. It makes people crazy.
Hey, save half of that one for me.
Oh, sure. Here you are.
Yeah, just leave it there. So,
Well, a year ago, my contract was up. And I was leaving the show. And I was about to be married. Jerry, his name was. And he's the only man I ever really loved.
Uh-huh.
Burton was furious. Said I was letting him down. I was ungrateful. But he couldn't stop me because my contract was up. And one morning I got a note from Jerry. Special delivery. We were through, it said.
Why?
No explanation. Just a cold, vicious note. That same morning, Jerry left town with a friend. Chartered a plane and went to Canada on a hunting trip.
And you didn't find out the reason for it?
Later, yes. At the time, I was hurt. I was terribly hurt. I signed a new contract and went on working. And months later, I got the story roundabout.
What was it?
A private detective, one of the crooked ones, had gone to Jerry with a complete report about me, supposedly. My private life, field reports, affidavits, statements, even photographs. A fake, the whole thing. But it convinced Jerry. You know who was behind it?
I can guess.
Sure. Good old, lovable Charlie Burton. He wanted to make sure I'd sign that contract.
But when you did find out, why didn't you go to Jerry?
I wish I could have. That hunting trip, the plane, it crashed. Jerry never came back. He was killed. That's crazy, huh?
Oh, no, easy, sweet.
Do I hate Charlie Burton enough to kill him? That's what you asked me, wasn't it? Sure, I hate him enough. 1,000 times enough. Only I haven't got the nerve. So what do? I drink.
Gloria.
The hotel. Help me get back there. Please, Johnny. Will you take me home?
Love and hate, and the Black Sea Rocks, and a lunatic's moon at midnight. And no help on this earth for a wounded heart but time itself. A tide was rising now, and rising fast. And hidden by the darkness, a wave curled and broke. And time ran out. I lunged out of bed and fumbled in the blackness for my robe and slippers and gun.
Yeah, who is it?
Charlie Burton. Open up, hurry.
Dollar, you've got to protect me. Somebody took a shot at me through my window from the terrace.
Oh, it was probably just a crude, practical joke.
Joke! Joke! This is no laughing matter. Don't you understand, Dollar? Somebody's out to kill me.
Now, here's our star to tell you about tomorrow's intriguing episode of this week's story.
Tomorrow, a thickening web, clinging and sticky. But one of the flies pulls free by using a gun. Join us, won't you? Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, starring Bob Bailey, is transcribed in Hollywood. Written by Les Crutchfield, it is produced and directed by Jack Johnstone. Be sure to join us tomorrow night, same time and station, for the next exciting episode of Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Roy Rowan speaking.
June 12th, 1956, yours truly, Johnny Dollar, here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. And you can find all of these shows and more by visiting Ted at RadioMemories.com. He supplies shows on cassette, CD, or flash drive for your computer. RadioMemories.com. Thank this radio station and support their advertisers. It is their kindness and courtesy that allow us to be with you each and every time we roll around here on your favorite radio station. Now, if you miss a day, you don't have to miss a show. All of our shows are available on demand at classicradio.stream. That's classicradio.stream. You can stream our shows, learn about building a classic radio collection of your own. You can find our social media links. You can also find a list of the places where our shows are available via podcast. And you can also buy me a copy. And the Buy Me a Copy has helped us acquire a number of classic radio collections, including Casey Crime Photographer, including Gunsmoke, and other shows. A whole bunch of My Friend Irma. So you can find all those at classicradio.stream if you want to help us acquire additional ones. Classicradio.stream. By the way, if you want to get the Cinnamon Bear, the children's Christmas cereal, get ready for that. Christmas isn't that far away. You can acquire that at classicradio.stream as well. Thank you for tuning in. Tell all your friends the greatest radio shows of all time are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite station.